Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. A very early Hammers headlines because wanted to get something out to you straight away. I'm in the office. Had to jump into a room to record the video because I think it's very important in terms of the news stories. It's Hammers headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. 2 stories today, and 2 stories which could help explain maybe our transfer window lack of activity, but one story which could impact our future transfer activity. It will become very, very clear shortly. Let's start with the latter, so to speak, and in terms of Tim Steidten. Now, let's just take that off as well. There we go. Now, as we know, Tim Steidten did an interview with Florian Pentlenberg, the Sky Sports Germany journalist, and it's been coming out in piecemeal, really, as these things tend to do. Now, he has spoken, Tim Steidten has spoken out in that interview about his links to the Liverpool director of football job. It doesn't sound good. In all honesty, he has been heavily linked with that job, claiming, reports claim that he's a leading contender to replace the current or the departing sporting director or director of football, whatever you like to call it, Jorg Skmadkuk. Jorg to his friends. And in the interview he did with Florian, he admitted he is flattered by Liverpool's interest. He likes the fact they've batted their eyelids at him, so to speak. And while he's still planning ahead for the West Ham summer recruitment job, in terms of a massive rebuild that's needed for this squad, he added that we'll wait and see what happens ahead of a rumoured summer switch to Anfield. So he hasn't completely ruled it out. He was quoted in saying, "I've heard that I am supposed to be on the list at Liverpool. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, so it's an honour. But so far, nobody from Liverpool has contacted me yet. I generally feel very comfortable. I generally feel very comfortable at West Ham. I quickly realised how intense this league is. Accordingly, we signed the right players in the last transfer windows. The squad is strong, so we can achieve our goals. I'm looking forward facing the next weeks and months until the end of the season. Of course, we were already planning the next window. What happens to the future, we will see." Doesn't fill me with complete confidence, in all honesty. And, it may coincide with more news coming out about the January transfer window. Obviously, the club would be well aware of the interview. They would have had to okay it. Anytime you have an interview with a current sort of club employee, that would have to be okayed by the media team. So they know the interview was coming out. They know it was going to be, the Liverpool link was going to be asked. It was asked. They know the response, and maybe they were. There's, as I said, in the last 2 days or so, there's been, some news coming out which may sully. We'll use that word, not even pardon the pun, sully the reputation of Steinberg in terms of his transfer activity. Potentially, whether it's putting a kibosh on the Liverpool job, or if the Liverpool job does happen and he is offered it, sort of sullying his reputation ahead of it. It happens quite a lot with players, as we know, and it happens with managers as well. So it's not the most grateful news to hear on Valentine's Day, but the fact is, and again, it's translated from German as well, so there might be something lost in the lost in translation, so to speak. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But he's spoken out. He knows, he's aware of the interest, and it's an honour to be linked with the Liverpool job. Anyway, let's move forward and talk about something else, shall we? Let's talk about January. And according to several reports, as I said, there was reports yesterday that it was Steidten who was blocking the okay to sale of everything, and the fact that we've reduced our squad now to 22 first team players, where it was 24 before the January transfer window. But according to Claret Hugh, it basically says that Sullivan wasn't happy with the winter, or the lack of winter activity. And it's been claimed that it was David Moyes who rejected numerous names being put forward to him by the recruitment team headed up by Tim Steidten. He basically said that Sullivan and Steidten were desperately keen to bring in a striker, so they seem to be on the same page there. But Moyes was unhappy with the names being put forward and finally decided to stick with what he had. Various names were put forward, not Amanda Brozier, apparently, as reported elsewhere. But also, we know. And see now, I've heard the Ibrahim Osman was a name that was put forward. Obviously, he's agreed terms with Brighton. He, according to the article, was not fancied by Moyes, but I have information which was contrary to that. So he was very much looking at Osman as a player for the future. He fancied him, he liked the lad, and by all accounts, it was the issue with Sullivan pulling the plug on that rather than So there is a lot of smoke and mirrors at the moment in terms of who was to blame for the January transfer window. It's been claimed that there's also a degree of tension. When Moyes claimed that publicly that he felt Steidten may have been struggling with the frantic last few days in the Premier League. Obviously, numerous names were suggested, but obviously the only one that come through the door was the loan signing of Calvin Phillips, with Moyes apparently believing that we were better off in that area of the field than anywhere else, really. And it all means that we've reduced our squad from 24 to 22 with no left-sided player at all in our books in terms of left side. We do, but his name's Maxwell Cornet, and it's just like he's just a placeholder, it seems, on the bench. So there does seem to be different, I'm going to use the word, narratives in terms of who is to blame for the January transfer window. Reports were coming out via some sources yesterday that it was Steidten that was putting the kibosh on it. This report from Claret Hugh has said that it was actually Moyes. And we've also heard reports that particularly the Osman deal was stopped because of Sullivan and one of his advisors suggesting that he was paying too much money for the lad. So we're none the wiser. As I said, I think I can see why the Steidten sort of words have been raised, maybe in a sort of way of counteracting the Sky Sports Germany interview about the Liverpool link potentially. And as I said, could be sullying his name in the press prior to him saying he wants a Liverpool job. Or he hasn't said he wants a Liverpool job. He's basically said he's flattered, which, from a personal perspective, you've got one of the biggest clubs in the world. Liverpool are, potentially interested in. Shows he's doing a good job. If anything, it actually puts maybe more pressure on West Ham to actually deliver on the summer transfer window targets. We've got a massive rebuild job. Several players are out of contract. Several players are in their 30s as well, and he needs the trust of the board. He needs the trust of the management team to do his job in terms of style. Let him cook. Let the man cook. But we shall see. I put out a video this morning, a little bit earlier on, about Fonseca give you a bit more information about him in terms of what he does, his management style, the way he plays, the way his teams play, a bit about his stats. So let me know what you think about that as well, because obviously that his name and also Sebastian Gutiérrez were both linked with the West Ham job over the last couple of days, or linked to be offered to the West Ham job, if that makes sense. And maybe tonight, I think tonight we might have Jamie. We had Alex on yesterday, his TikTok takeover on Tuesdays. All the teas, so go and check that out. And then we'll have Jamie Talks tonight doing his show, The Wrap Up, on about 9 o'clock tonight. So keep an eye out for that. Then you keep an eye on everything is make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hit the bell notifications. And yeah, if we get any more breaking news, we'll bring to you as soon as we can. Don't forget to check out These at Mara Brown for the latest news, reviews, and opinions. And until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Happy Valentine's Day. Love is in the air. Much love. Bye-bye. Lions.